Shock Monkey Radio is entertainment for adults, by adults, and the views and opinions expressed here do not reflect upon the sponsors or FXBG Public Radio. For additional information, please refer to the United States Bill of Rights. Stand warned. I just want to start us all off with a positive thought. Every single one of us has never before been seen on this earth and never will be again. I want you to take that to heart. You know, it's like you are nothing but unique. So I just want you to think about that, and that they broke the mold when they made you, and that applies to every single one of us. Isn't that amazing? Life is amazing that way. I don't know. I guess I've been down in the dumps lately. So positive thoughts to all y'all. Positive thoughts. Welcome to Shock Monkey Radio. I'm your host, the Madman. EK is behind the boards. We got the camera set up. This FXVG Public Radio is so modular. You know, it's constantly changing. So we got to get different cameras, different setups. It's like, oh, this other camera's over there. It's like I'm having a BIOS issue. So there's always something going on. It's always very, very modular. But, you kind of still end up with the same finished product for every show. And you got to give it up for EK, the DJ here. Right now, he's just sitting there listening to my voice, trying to get the levels just right on the audio. And the guy loves this stuff. He's so nerdy for it. And when he talks about it, it puts me to sleep. It really does. I'm not into audio. I think it's because I have bad hearing. And so I don't get it. It's also why I can't sing. Bad hearing. Anyway, I want to remind you again, I have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio, become a patron. Shock Monkey Radio is the cash tag. If you want to send me money through the Cash App, I would appreciate that. You can follow me on social media. You can see over here on what's that, the right side of your screen? Left side? Left side. All right. So I had a dream. I had a dream that Kanye West, Ye, he asked me to call him. I had a dream that Ye called me. And I had a dream that Ye called me. Oh. I had a dream. He wanted me to call him Ye. He called me up and he's like, "Hey man, I'm a subscriber. I like you. I like your YouTube channel. Hey, I want you to come work for me. I want you to come work for me." And in my dream, I said no to him. And when I woke up, I felt like I made a mistake. I felt like I could have taken the chance. And it's weird that even in my dreams, I self-sabotage myself. It's it's like you could have been hanging with Kanye West. And then, I think to myself, maybe Nick Fuentes and Milo Yiannopoulos. And yeah. So I guess even in my dreams, I'm like, I don't necessarily want to hang out with you, Kanye. I like weird people. I think you're very interesting to watch from a very, very far distance away from me. I don't want the chaos of your life involved in mine at all. And I was talking with EK about Kanye West when he went on Alex Jones and made Alex Jones uncomfortable for being weird. That's a feat, ladies and gentlemen. When you can make Alex Jones squirm in his seat, that's formidable. Anyway, but I mean, it's just a dream. The night before I had a dream that an armed robber came into this place, a grocery store I was in, and I drop kicked him. I did a jump kick actually. I jumped up and kicked him in the hip, dislocated him, and I shouted, "Welcome to Scotland, mate!" Because my name's Scott, and that was the dream I had. So dreams are ridiculous. And so when anyone says, just follow your dreams, that's not what they mean. It's like, I gotta hunt down Kanye West. He came to me in a dream. He said he wants to hire me. Don't follow that dream. And don't just don't kick an armed robber. If somebody has a gun, you should probably do what they say for the time being. Unless anyway. That's a different story. Welcome to Scotland, mate. Anyway, so it's kind of been a slow news week. Not a whole lot going on. That I think is important anyway. So we might take a little bit of an easier feel here. And today I want to talk about cop body cam bingo. Or maybe we should call this How to Man Up Interacting with the Police. Because I've been watching, instead of like movies and stuff like that, I'm not going to be reviewing any movies this week. I know they're popular for some reason, and my subscribers are down, but my views are up. I don't know how any of this works. But anyway, it's instead of watching like movies, I've been watching like exclusively body cam footage. And I've been trying to like develop like all my feelings for it, like sort it all out and how I feel and what I want to say about it. All right. And so the first thing I want to talk about is racism. All right. When it comes to racism, you have to understand racism is the idea that any one race is superior to another, you know, for any reason. All right. That's what racism is. Everything else is just noticing patterns. All right. So in many ways, there's not a whole lot of racism involved when it comes to crime, believe it or not. All right. Now let's talk about the person who wants to be the next George Floyd. And this isn't necessarily applied to any one specific race. All right. There's tons of people out there who will get arrested, and the body cam footage will say the classic line, "I can't breathe. I can't breathe." That's more Michael Brown, I suppose. But I mean, "I can't breathe." As if they think it's some sort of set of magical words that if you're being arrested and you say, "I can't breathe," then all the cops have to stop, you know, and they give you like a 5-second head start or something. I don't know why they think that that's like some magical phrase that's going to make people stop. Also, they say the word stop and like they're going to, oh, well, he said stop. No. Well, since you said stop, that's the law, you know. But the truly scary aspect of it is those people who say, is like they're shouting at other people on the streets, like, record this, I'm going to be the next George Floyd kind of thing. And, you know, do you remember what happened to George Floyd? You know, that's not something you should want to aspire to be. All right. Whether or not you think he was fated to die that day or not, you know, probably because of what he took. All right. You can think about whatever you want about the situation in regards to George Floyd's death. But the story of George Floyd kind of ended with his death that day. That's the end of his life. And if you want to be the next George Floyd, I mean, you want to sacrifice yourself for that kind of notoriety, that infamy, you know, there's something wrong with you. You know, make a YouTube channel, you know, do movie reviews or something like that to get famous. There's got to be easier ways to do this that, you know, won't necessarily put your life or anyone else's life in danger. So I don't know. There's this, you know, this thing where people like think they're going to be the next headline. They're going to be the next international George Floyd headline. And that's kind of dangerous. Also, there's these body cam channels like Audit the Audit, where it's these people who go around trying to interact with police to prove how much, you know, they know the rights and stuff like that. And I think that's equally as dangerous. It's like clout seeking using law enforcement to get that clout. And that is a bad thing. It's just like that dude Mizzy over in England, you know, where he was the guy that was just walking into people's houses in England. And because nobody has guns, you know, he was able to survive that a couple times, you know. And he's doing that for clout, for internet views, for, you know, for the spectacle of it. And I think that's kind of dangerous when it comes to this body cam footage. You know, I think that's kind of the double-edged sword. I think body cams are a good thing. And the professionalism of these cops in so many of these videos is just outstanding. The patience they have. I couldn't be a cop. Sometimes, like, guaranteed. Every other video, I'll pistol whip this guy until like I get fired. I will pistol whip this person until the other cops pull me off of him, or because I became a cop to enact justice, and for some reason this is the only conclusion I could come to. It's also why I wouldn't be a good Batman. I'm tired of playing your games, Joker. Just beat the crap out of him, you know. I don't care where the hostages are. Just want to kick the crap out of you. Anyway, so mad respect to those cops because they have a tough job, and I couldn't do it. And so you hear a lot of these common themes. They also hear racism a lot. You hear a lot of people, it's like, oh, you pulled me over because you saw I was black. You know, you pulled me over because you heard rap music or something like that. You knew I must be. That's ridiculous. Tons of white people listen to rap music because they want to piss off their dads. You know, duh. You know, it's funny because, you know, whenever somebody is committing a crime, you know, they think it's anything other than the fact that they're committing a crime, that they're getting an interaction with the police. Or it's like, oh, you just interested, you just wanted to talk to me because I'm black. I was walking by with a Black and Mild. I was, you know, I was listening to rap music, you know. It's anything other than the fact that they were committing a crime. They could be speeding, you know, they could have $100,000 worth of cocaine in the car. But it's anything other than the fact that they were breaking the law, you know. And so I think that's funny. And I'll tell you, it's like when it comes to like the funniest videos of body cam footage is drunk white people, hands down, drunk white people, because it's almost like white people don't care about shame, about making themselves look like buffoons and goofy, you know, even on the internet. And I guess that kind of explains my show. But I mean, it's funny because drunk white people will say and do some of the craziest stuff, and they'll also like flip. You know, they'll flip. They'll be like, F you 1 minute, and then, you know, I'm sorry. I really respect you guys. I love you guys. I have nothing but respect for the police. And then they're back to F you. And so they're kind of unpredictable in a Nerf way, you know. Like my second favorite type of character in body cam videos is a black witnesses to a crime. Like some guy like who's like walking along the side of the road. His eyes are beet red. He's got a Black and Mild unlit cigar, and he's sitting there interacting with a cop. He's like, "You mind taking a statement? Talk to the camera about what you saw." And the guy's like, "Yeah, man, I was just walking down in the store." You know, guys, law-abiding and everything. He hands him the ID, he checks out. He's not a wanted person, anything like that. He says a statement. It's like, "Yeah, I saw this car coming down. They got the Black and Mild flipping up and down while they're talking." And there's this crazy-ass white boy in this car comes screeching out of the intersection and goes this way, hits that guy. It runs into that shopping cart over there. That crazy white boy comes running out, and the guy hit by a bus. Those guys are always hilarious because when they want to talk to the police, it's funny because they have fun with it, you know. What's another thing I really like? Another character I like is the canine officer. All right, because there's some crazy stuff going on the canine officer's body cam. I remember I saw this one where it was like a high-speed chase. This guy ended up crashing, and they pulled like two squad cars pinned up against him, and the canine car right up in the middle of him. He jumps out with his canine. Two other cops come running out and start getting drawn down on the guy. It's like, "Get out of the effing car, get out there," screaming. The dog's barking. The guy's holding the dog back, and "Get out of the effing car." And these two more cops run up and they start pulling the guy out of the car. The whole time the dog's barking and the canine handler's just sitting there going, "Good girl, good girl, good girl." And it's just such a juxtaposition to what is actually happening right there in front of him. It's like, that's your job, is to stay there, say "good girl" to that dog for barking. So I guess that's my favorite characters. You know, you don't you also hear like this a lot. It's like, "I don't consent to that." I saw this one where a guy got pulled over for speeding, and the cop came up to him and showed him the radar gun. It's like, "I caught you at this in the 45 or whatever like that." Oh, I didn't consent to that radar search. No, that's not how that works. That's not how the Fourth Amendment works. Is that the Fourth Amendment? I think it is. Unreasonable search and seizure. Or is that quartering? I don't know. Maybe it's all. Anyway, that's not how that works. And it's also like, even when they're getting arrested, people say, "I don't consent to being arrested." And it's like, that's not what arrest is, you know. And you kind of see this kind of going away because the whole sovereign citizen movement really kind of got basically thrown on its face into the concrete, put cuffed behind the backs and released on a $5,000 signature bond. Okay, that's what happened to the sovereign citizens. So I think that's kind of going away right now. What else do people say? There's people who say I have PTSD. You specifically see women doing this a lot. I have trauma. I have PTSD. And every single one of my friends who actually served in combat and have PTSD, because of those friends that I have, I want to kick your ass on their behalf. Because I really don't like it, especially when these girls I remember there's this one girl getting arrested, and she was screaming, "It's like you're making me relive my trauma of my molestation," and just I have PTSD. Like, yeah, it's just so ridiculous. They think, like I said, there's a lot of people who think that there's some magical series of words that they can spit out of their mouth and they're going to get let go, that the law is going to change its mind. It's weird. There's also a lot of people who are quite litigious when they're being arrested. They're like, "Oh, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you. You guys have your body cameras on." They'll say that. It's like, "You got cameras on," or they're shouting to people around them. It's like, "Make sure you film this. Make sure you film this." And the cops are saying, "We are filming it. We all have body cams, dude." And even knowing how they behave, they'll be sitting there saying, "I'm going to subpoena your body camera. I'm going to subpoena your body camera. And because I'm going to win this case based upon what just happened in this body camera footage." They're very litigious when they're getting arrested. It's like, "I'm going to sue all of you. I'm going to make millions. I'm going to get paid. I'm going to get paid off you fools for doing everything wrong." Guarantee you, that's not what happens. That's not how it plays out. All right. It's all these people say that they know the law. There's so many people out there. It's like, that's not how the law works. They get there's this one guy getting arrested. It's like, "You have to tell me who you're looking for before I can talk to you." "Who are you looking for?" It's like, "No, you tell me who you are and I'll tell you if I'm looking for you." It's just like they think they know the law. It's like, or like when they're supposed to be read their Miranda rights. They'll be like, they'll be being put in cuffs, and as they're being put in cuffs, it's like, you didn't read me my Miranda rights. It's like, what are you talking about? You're supposed to read me my Miranda rights before you handcuff me. No, no, that's not how that works. And they also, they really don't know. But they think they know, and they think they're all going to, take you to court. I'm going to get you all fired. There's a lot of people say that. "I'm going to get you fired," and it's just ridiculous. And the scariest videos, the ones that really make me nervous, is anything that involves a high-speed chase or vehicle collisions or anything involving shots fired, because that's what they call pucker factor. It's the I don't know, the roughest end of that kind of work. And like I said, it takes a special kind of person to do that job, and I'm not that special. No, I'm a creep. Anyway, there's one more thing I want to talk about, I guess, is about things that you learn from these videos, and that's the effects of alcohol. I guess I don't really understand this as some people do, because I'm a boo-hoo drunk. I'm not a fight me kind of drunk, And so when you see like the effects of alcohol, it's like people who are like drunk and they get pulled over by the cops, and how quickly they'll just get into a violent, bring violence into the equation. It's just, I think it's a kind of a good lesson, a good argument as why alcohol should be more regulated than any other intoxicant, because people when they're drinking are nuts. They are nuts. I remember I was with some friends, and we got stopped by a cop, and we'd been drinking, and there was marijuana in the car as well. And so the cop was not so much concerned about the fact that there was weed, the car smelled like weed. He was more concerned about the alcohol that he smelled, right? Because people who have been drinking are more likely to fight. People who are stoned, just like, "Yeah, man, whatever, take me to jail. They got stuff to eat at jail," right? I guess. But I mean, and I think that's a reasonable way for cops to operate because I don't know. I guess I've been in enough bars and seen enough fights break out to know how some people on alcohol just really start throwing hands. You know, I don't like that. What's the racist phrase? Get your Irish up. Anyway. So, yeah, now this very last thing I want to talk about is the Miranda rights. I cannot tell you how relevant it is that the very first one of the Miranda rights is you have the right to remain silent. That is number one for a reason. That is number one with a reason for a bullet. And the pretense is it's to protect you. It's to protect you for, your trial. That way you don't say anything incriminating, so you don't incriminate yourself. That's Fifth Amendment, I believe. So, I mean, they pretend it's for you, but considering all these arrests that I've seen where there's people who see, you can handcuff somebody if they start kicking inside the car. You could put leg irons on them or like that, hog tie them if you need to, so they can't hit. They start spitting at you. You could put a spit hood over their head. But the one thing you cannot do to a suspect is friggin' gag them. Because, oh my God, even if somebody stops fighting physically, their mouth will still be going, and you're just like, holy cow. Can I advise you of your Miranda rights again? Let's start from the top. You have the right to remain silent. Shut up. You are annoying. There's this one where this guy kept saying he had to pee over and over again. He got arrested for DUI, and they brought him back to the hospital. He refused, the field sobriety test, refused a breath test. So they took him to the hospital, to get a blood draw. And the whole time he's like, I gotta pee. And they're like, no, we're not letting you pee because you're making us do all this. You could have done the field sobriety test. You could have done the breath test. Now we're not letting you pee until we draw your blood so we get an accurate measurement of your blood alcohol level. But he was belligerent. He was like, F you, I need to pee. F you, I need to pee. F you, I need to pee. And they're like, no, you're getting your blood drawn first. It's like, but can I pee though first? It's like, no, we're getting it. So it's just kept this circular argument over and over and over again. But as soon as that guy got to pee, he was nice as hell. He was like, oh man, I'm really sorry. I just really had to pee. He's like, yeah, I kind of got that from you because he said it like 40,000 times. And so, I mean, so many of these people are so annoying, especially when they repeat themselves over and over again, I also like when somebody gets tased and they change their tune like that. They're a different band, just like that. They're like, F you, you can't stop me. I'm hard like that. You'll never catch me, copper. Oh, I'm sorry. Roll over on your stomach. I am. Put your hands behind your back. I am. Please don't do that again. When they flip like that. Oh, I love that. It's like, oh, I wasn't expecting pain today. I think I pooped myself a little.
I may have.
Did you ever see? No, you didn't like that show, Shameless. Yeah. Well, there's this one time where Frank was in a bar and he heard this big dude saying, "He's like, I got tased. I can get tased and no problem. I can get tased twice, no problem." And Frank just shouts out, "Bullshit. It's like, I got tased twice and I shit myself both times." And so he bet the guy like $5,000 or something like that he couldn't do it. And so then some guy got a taser and tased the guy twice in a row, no problem. So Frank had to pay up. And that caused a series of dramatic events in that show, Shameless. But, yeah. Good luck with that, being tased.
Don't tase me, bro.
Yeah, don't tase me, bro. Anyway, I've been watching a lot of that, and some of it just drives me nuts. Anyway, like I said, not the news is so lazy day today. Hey, I got into an argument with another adult about free parking in Monopoly. All right, and this is all true. This is not made up in any way. I had an argument with another adult about free parking, and if you remember last week, I talked a little bit about Monopoly and income tax and all that. And so, I had a friend talk to me about free parking. He's like, do you do the free parking thing? And I was like, what free parking thing? And he's like, you put at the beginning of the game, put $500 in the center, and anyone who lands on free parking gets $500. And I said, so the bank will randomly put $500 bills, hide them in the parking lot for people to find, and that's like good for the economy or something. He's like, yeah, and I don't like that idea. I do like the idea. EK looks like he has something to say. I do like the idea that taxes, every time you pay a tax, that goes to the center. I don't like the idea of putting the $500 bill. Okay, that was EK's point. All right, so if you pay school tax, pay poor tax, the $15, that goes in the center. And if you land on free parking after that, then you win what's in there. That's basically the lottery. All right, that's basically all that is. And so the exception is like street repairs. All right, if you get assessed for street repairs, you got to like $40 for each house, $100 for each hotel. You got to pay that. That doesn't go in the center. That goes back to the bank. All right, but all taxes go in the center. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But the idea that like, oh, somebody landed on free parking, we got to put another $500 bill in the center. No. But he was adamant about that. It's like, yeah, and it's like, what happens when the first person who rolls 10 twice, a total of 20 in 2 turns, and lands on free parking. He wins the 500. Then what happens? It's like, then the bank puts in another $500. It's like, that bank would be out of business in no time flat. This game was invented during the Great Depression, But it was a Great Depression. Nobody was putting money in parking lots. It's so ridiculous. And, even in the rules, the monopoly rules, free parking is just a free space. That's all. Nothing in the rules about free parking. However, there are always house rules. And this is where I had to concede the argument. It's like, look, dude, if I'm playing Monopoly at your house and it's your Monopoly board and you want to put $500 randomly in the parking lot whenever somebody picks it up, that's your prerogative. House rules. I follow house rules, and when you play games, you should follow house rules. But if I had my druthers, if you want my honest opinion, it's like, I don't think that anything should be on free parking. I could maybe agree to the taxes being put in the center for a lottery, because that could change the dynamic of a game if nobody collects it for a while, Anyway, I'll give you $3,000 for Baltic and Mediterranean since they're both mortgaged. All I got's cash. The bank has to come to me to make change. But that's a true story. That really happened. So Jimmy Buffett died. How can I say this? It's like a lot of the people I follow and my friends, I think, are assholes because they're kind of mocking him. But I suppose I'm in proper company. Because I'm kind of an asshole too. And I get it. Jimmy Buffett was kind of a chillax, old drunk kind of beach bum music, and it wasn't particularly fantastic, or musically innovative, but it was chill music.
It was music you didn't have to think about.
Yeah, it was chill music. It was amusement music you don't have to think about, is what EK said. And I've been to Key West. I went and had a cheeseburger in paradise in Key West. You know what I'm talking about? I had more than one cold draft beer, but I mean, it was Key West. And so, and hearing that music all over the place in Key West, because it was all over the place in Key West, it's like, I think Jimmy Buffett had like some sort of contract with the city. Play my music, like 70% of the time it has to be my music. And the rest is, if you like pina coladas. No, if you like cheese, enchiladas, and rails of cocaine. That's how it goes. That's a Weird Al, or Weirder Al Yankovic did one. Anyway. So, yeah, Jimmy Buffett died, and he was a shipmate. I think he was in the Navy. Son of a sailor and all that. But, and I can appreciate any artist for what they do, but I mean, making fun of a guy, just because you think his music is lame, or like his taste in music is lame, Like, I don't want anyone standing around my funeral and it's like, madman, whole life loved Queen. Loved Queen. Nobody knew why. You know what I think? I don't want that happening at my funeral. I don't want anyone saying, like, he had horrible taste in music, and the only thing I can think of is maybe he had the hots for Freddie Mercury. That's what I'm saying. And, I don't think there's any avoiding that kind of conversation at my funeral, but I mean, but I hope my art is as appreciated in some way the way Jimmy Buffett's art is. And so you can argue that my art isn't anything compared to Jimmy Buffett's art, which isn't anything to compare to like Tool's art. Some of these elitist musician types of Jimmy Buffett's lame. They like Tool and like some really awful taste in music. It's kind of why I like listening to Gavin McInnes rant about music, because he loves punk. It's like, how can you think you have a sophisticated taste when you like punk anyway? I guess that's the point. That's very punk rock of you to be like that, I suppose. Anyway, Jimmy Buffett, rest in peace. All right. I don't want to talk anymore about this. I don't want to talk about it. Let's just go quickly through the news and get out of here, because it is hot, yo. Holy cow. We are in this heat wave here in Virginia, and bro, I hope it's the last one of the year. September is supposed to be Madman Appreciation Month, but it's so hot I forgot to mention it. Madman Appreciation Month. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio to appreciate the Madman today. All right, we're going to go quickly through this. So the U.S. launched an unarmed ICBM. It's like that scene in Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood, where, do we have a problem? Do we have a problem? And that's what it is. It's two guys on street corners flashing guns at each other. That's what these ICBM tests. And they, there's I think Russia recently did a test. I think that North Korea did a test, and now the U.S. has done one. And, I'm just putting that out there. I'm putting it out there because Biden's leadership is so awful that, these rogue nations feel like they can flex their muscles because they understand how weak our federal government is right now, because it's so redonkulously corrupt. Yeah, I think we're going on to the next story. I guess the point is that, I guess we're a little bit closer to a nuclear war. I hope not. I hope and pray not. But, this is why strong leadership, and maybe even younger leadership is needed in these positions. Because it's like, I don't want to have to wake up Biden from a nap to make a decision about striking back. It's like, oh no, he took a pill. He's going to be out for 6 hours. Guaranteed. Well, throw some ice cream on him or something. Wake his ass up. Anyway, let's talk about this next thing. So a New York Times columnist gives readers surprising reality check on why Americans are down on Biden. Okay, New York Times columnist. This is why it's irrelevant. It's because it's the New York Times. All right, so gave readers a reality check on Wednesday. A column headlined, "Why So Many Americans Are Down on Biden," noting several potential reasons to why the president's numbers are so low. Columnist Brett Stevens first noticed the increased price of eggs and white bread. He added that the price of gasoline was up 63% since January 2021, the last month Biden became president. The month Biden became president. The news isn't all that good. Americans are unsettled by things that are not always visible in headlines or statistics, but are easy enough to see. He also added the White House is obviously not touting those numbers. The inflation ordinary people experience every day in life is not one the government prefers to highlight. Exactly. Stevens also pointed that the collapse of public order, the border crisis, concerns of Biden's age, and a humiliating Afghanistan withdrawal. New York Times. Finally coming around, huh? Anyway. They went on to say, easy to see is that the president is not young for his age. The stiff gait and the occasional falls, the apparent dozing off, the times he draws blank or struggles to complete a thought, yet the same yelling, hashtag resign Feinstein or resign McConnell, don't appear to be a special vocal when it comes to presidential fitness. Correct. That's the point. It's like Dianne Feinstein has campaigns, and so does Mitch McConnell, has campaigns trying to tell them to resign. People trying to tell him is like, you're too old for this job. Mitch McConnell blanked out a couple times. All right. That's not good. People that age need to be at home being looked after. Same thing with Biden. Same thing with Dianne Feinstein. All right. I understand you want to hold on to that power, you crazy ass Democrats. I understand. But you gotta give a younger generation a shot. I know you're looking at like Pete Buttigieg and Kamala Harris as the next generation, but holy, I guess I understand. All right, well, I convinced myself I'm on your side. We can't let those guys get in charge. Yeah, it doesn't look good for Biden. So I can skip this one and come back to it. Let's talk about Biden a little bit more. Open in a new tab. Biden ripped for leaving the Medal of Honor ceremony early. I saw this video on Crowder this morning. So social media has erupted after a video appears to show President Biden leave the White House Medal of Honor ceremony early before the closing prayer. Users accuse Biden of having bolted out of the room and disrespecting the U.S. military veteran receiving the nation's highest military honor. The incident took place Tuesday just after Biden placed a medal on former U.S. Army Captain Larry Taylor. Taylor, 81, received the medal for heroic action during the Vietnam War. In 1968, then First Lieutenant Taylor flew his helicopter into harm's way to rescue 4 of his comrades who were surrounded by the enemy and facing certain death. Describing his actions during the ceremony, Biden said, "It was pitch black, no moon, no stars, the light beyond the glow of Lieutenant Taylor's cockpit control. When he heard a whisper coming through his radio, 'We're surrounded.' Lieutenant Taylor knew the risks, but he was ready." Towards the end of the ceremony, Biden placed the medal around Taylor's neck, and rather than wait there for the audience to finish applauding and the MC to read the concluding prayer, he walked down the aisle and apparently appeared to leave the ceremony. Let's pause for a second to talk about what that Vietnam captain did. Holy cow. Flying into the fire. And I think that's the issue is like for a lot of people is like, Biden should appreciate what that man did for this nation. And for other Americans. It's something that a person like Biden could never, ever, ever understand. And the way he just walked out of there. Number one is like I said before, he's just too damn old. He's like, I don't know what's rattling around in this head of his. He salutes the guy and just walks off. And the master of ceremony is like, I guess we'll keep going. And it's funny because he's walking off and a couple of people are looking and like, where the hell's the president going? Go find the video yourself. I'm not going to make EK pull it up. Plus, I might crash everyone's computer. I tell you, I short out electrical things a lot. EK gets mad when I touch stuff. It's like, you don't know. It's like, you might short circuit it. I told him I think I picked up a charge in the Navy, a negative charge. Where was it? Okay, let's go up this one. Let's talk about what's going on in Wisconsin right now. Oh, by the way, all those, it was like 99% of all those police body cam videos apparently take place in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Anyway, and everyone gets released for a $500 signature bond. Anyway, defunded Wisconsin police to increase, wait, I think I saw an update on this story. Let me go to the site here. Cops announced breaking the case. Okay. Is this the same? Yeah. All right. Updated. Madison cops arrest suspect in University of Wisconsin sex assault. Brandon Thompson, 26, charged with brutal sex assault that nearly killed University of Wisconsin-Madison student. Police in Wisconsin's capital have arrested a 26-year-old man in connection with a brutal sidewalk. So this is basically stranger assault. Ugh. That left a University of Wisconsin-Madison student with life-threatening injuries early Sunday morning. Brandon A. Thompson, a city resident, was arrested on charges of first-degree sexual assault, first-degree reckless injury, and strangulation Wednesday morning. Madison police spokeswoman Alyssa Keynes told Fox News Digital. Well, I'm glad they caught him because I'm worried. Authorities will give additional details in news briefing at 4. Was that Pacific or Mountain? It should be Mountain, right? No, Central Time. Okay. Police found the victim around 3:20 a.m. on Sunday, a block away from Lake Monona, and rushed her to the hospital with severe injuries. They said previously they believed her attacker was a stranger. Jail records showed they booked Thompson into custody shortly after 7 a.m. Wednesday. Friend of the victim told Milwaukee's WISN-TV that she was found with a broken jaw and had been strangled, beaten, and sexually assaulted. An unnamed neighbor said the victim had been abducted off the sidewalk and dragged between two houses. Police were asking residents to avoid walking alone in the area, especially at night, and keep an eye out for their surroundings. Now, that's the end of the article, but I'm going to tell you there's more to it than that. All right. Milwaukee and Wisconsin, and cities like Milwaukee and Wisconsin, very liberal. And so they have been like defunding police and stuff like that. And so when the police tell you to be careful walking the streets, it's them basically letting you know it's like, we can't keep the streets safe because you won't let us keep the streets safe. Anyway. It's a shame. It's a shame how bad crime has to get before you people will realize it's like you cannot defund the police. Law and order must be upheld. That's why people are leaving cities in droves. They're going out to safer environments, safer places, safer, smaller cities where law enforcement has the guts to do what needs to be done. These cities that have been run by liberals for far too long, has resulted in this kind of, leniency when it comes to people who commit crimes. Because of systemic racism. Nonsense. Like I said before, when it came to the body cam footage, everyone who's interacting with police thinks that there's some other reason the cops are talking to them other than the fact that they committed a crime. It's because my eyes are blue. You're just cuffing me because my eyes are blue. You just think I'm in trouble because I have straight hair. I have curly hair. It's curly hair. It's so nuts. Anyway. All right, let's get into a couple crazier stories, and then we're out of here. So, seeking all Katnisses of the world, City of Pittsburgh is seeking archers to help deal with deer population crisis in parks. They're going to be checking for people in costumes. None of this Robin Hood nonsense. That Disney Robin Hood nonsense. Anyway, the City of Pittsburgh will randomly be selecting 30 archers to go bow hunting in 2 city parks in an effort to control the deer population. Quote, in cooperation with the United States Department of Agriculture, the City of Pittsburgh is preparing for a pilot program with archery-controlled hunts in Frick and Riverview parks during the 2023-2024 deer archery season, said September 3rd release from the City of Pittsburgh. Frick Park is 644 acres, while Riverview Park is 259 acres, said the Pittsburgh Parks website. Anyone who wishes to hunt in one of these parks will enter a lottery system, said the city, and 30 people will be selected. To be eligible, a person must live in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, have a clean criminal check and Pennsylvania Game Commission background check to purchase an antlerless deer permit for Pittsburgh Wildlife Management Unit area. After being selected from the lottery and passing a background check, the selected archers will be required to attend an accuracy test. This is awesome. If the accuracy test is passed, each hunter will be assigned a hunter ID from a specific location within Frick or Riverview parks where they're permitted to hunt. The city added. Hunters selected for the program will have a zero tolerance policy, will be immediately removed from the program if they are found to have violated any of the program guidelines of the city. Additionally, each hunter must shoot a doe or female deer, Ray, drop a golden sun, as their first kill. The doe will then be donated to a food bank. I like that. Archers who shoot more than 2 deer from the area of the park will be given preference in subsequent seasons. So the better you are, more likely you are to do it again. For the archery program procedures form. Hunters are not permitted to use bait, cannot publicly share pictures of their harvest per the city. Interesting. In a frequently asked questions section of the website, the city explained that the deer population has grown out of control and become dangerous for themselves and to humans. Yeah. Maintaining a healthy deer population is critical to both parks, the park's health and deer's herd's health. The large deer population has exacerbated their food source, limiting native vegetation's ability to root and regenerate. With no natural predators, we are seeing an increase in car deer collisions. Could you imagine being in Pittsburgh, driving through Pittsburgh, and some deer comes out? It's like, what? Who expects that? It's like, where are you? I'm in Pittsburgh. Where what's going on there? It's like, I hit a deer. Like on the outskirts of Pittsburgh? No. Downtown Pittsburgh. Anyway, Frick and Riverview Parks are the largest unregulated deer population in the city, explained. Okay. So that's kind of interesting. So, I mean, I guess it's going to be pretty fierce competition. But they won't let them share it online, like pictures. So I guess I just don't understand why like Fox doesn't like try to reach out to PETA for comment. Like if I worked at Fox News, if I was like editor-in-chief of Fox News, I'll tell the person who wrote that article, it's like, try to reach out to PETA for their comment on that news story. Just a little FU. It's like so you could put it at the bottom as like, we have Fox News has reached out to PETA for comment and have not heard back yet. Anyway, let's talk about a sweet little story about a Kansas deputy. Video shows Kansas deputy hug a distressed motorist during a traffic stop. Body camera footage released Tuesday shows Johnson County, Kansas deputy hug a distressed driver during a traffic stop. Johnson County Sheriff's Department Deputy Anthony Bussell pulled over a driver for speeding on August 5th, the department said on Facebook. The man explained he was going through some personal challenges. Can I have a hug? I need a hug. Can I have a hug, please? The driver asked after telling the deputy his story. And the deputy said, that's not my job description. I'm kidding. The cop said, sure, yeah. The deputy answered. The driver exited the car. See, like I said, it takes a special kind of person to be a cop. And if somebody asked me that as I have them on the side of the road, can I have a hug? No, sorry. It's not in my job description. We don't give out hugs, sir. But this cop is apparently a better man than me. So the guy got out of the car, and I guess when he got out of the car, you're able to get a smell. It's like, was he drinking? Get a good whiff of him. But, he could have tried to grab your gun. I don't mean to bother you, but I'm sorry, the driver said. And it's like, no, you're good, man, the deputy replied, embracing. I promise you it's going to get better. The sheriff's office used the incident to put forth a positive message on social media. Quote, the men and women of the JCSO come in contact with people every day who are going through their own battles. We strive to be compassionate while serving our community. This is our pledge to you, they posted. The video is getting mostly positive responses, but a couple of skeptics have also chimed in. We need more people like this. Mental health is real, one person commented. Quote, absolutely the most dangerous thing I can imagine from an officer safety standpoint. Was he speeding from a homicide, a robbery? Never let anyone that close to you. There's always a weapon in any encounter, and you brought it. Another one said. JCSO has almost 500 sworn deputies, operates 2 jails and an internationally accredited crime lab, offering a full complement of law enforcement forensic services, according to its website. Yeah. I may joke and say that it's not part of your job description, but I mean, you got to understand, if you're a cop, you're dealing with people who are having the worst day of their life, no matter what's going on. And, in many ways, it's like they're having the hardest day of their life, the day you're talking to him. And, if your customers are always somebody on the worst day of their life, if you're at a restaurant and it's like the restaurant's called My Worst Day Ever, and the only people who come in are people who are having their worst day ever, you probably have a bad attitude because everyone come in there complaining, whining and complaining. Can I get a hug? Anyway, like I said, it takes a special kind of person to be a police officer. And, there were times I considered being a police officer, but after watching a few body cam footage videos, I realized, I'm too quick to say, let's shoot them. Just put them on their knees, shoot them for the good of all humanity. Anyway, this is going to be the end of the show. I want to remind you again that I have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio. Become a patron today. I would appreciate that. Shock Monkey Radio is the cash tag, all one word. If you want to send me money through Cash App that way, I would appreciate it. You can follow me on social media. You can follow the things over there. I also have books available for digital download. Follow the links down in the description below. So, this has been Shock Monkey Radio. I'm the Madman, and I love you.